Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I got another deck profile update for you guys today. This time it's on my Pendulum Guardragon. This is basically a mix of a few different engines, Endymion, Pendulum Magician, the Supreme King package, all that good stuff. So I went back and adjusted some of my ratios, added some new cards in just to make the deck a little bit more consistent. And yeah, I just also made some changes on the extra deck too, just to mainly just to focus on what is more important for this deck and like what's the smartest choices to make, because before I try to put in like too much on the extra deck, like with Scarlet Red Dragon, Archfiend Abyss, Absolute Dragon, and I decided to just kind of work around like what I should use more and what I should use less. So anyway, I figured I'd show you what I got this time around. Alright, so starting off with the best card in the entire deck, Servant of Endymion. Use its pendulum effect mostly just to get 3 spell counters. Move 3 to special summon itself and 1 monster from your deck that you can place a spell counter on. So it's a good way to turbo out Mythical Beast Jackal King or Endymion the Mighty Master of Magic. But you're mostly going to go for Jackal King, especially the fact that Nibiru is a card now. And luckily enough, Nibiru's tributing effect does not cost, so it's part of an effect, so you can negate it with Jackal King. So you definitely need to get that Jackal King to give yourself a better defensive strategy, while you can still set off with your combos without the worry of being disrupted and all that good stuff. Next, I'm playing 2 copies of Endymion, the Mighty Master of Magic again, mainly because some decks are incorporating floodgates. Like, I know there's the card of Demise build of Sky Strikers, which they'll hit you with. There can only be 1, so you definitely want to avoid that. So Endymion, the Mighty Master of Magic, basically just pops those types of cards or any other back row heavy strategy. So. And the fact that he negates spells and traps is a good way to, stop. So, yeah, definitely I like to run him at 2, and also I use it for its high skill too. So, definitely need that scale. And I'm only playing 1 copy of Jackal King just because, it's bricky, and you definitely just want to see it. Well, you want to summon it off through the effect of Servant, so you don't really want to see this on your opening hand. I don't really run Master Cerberus anymore because, like Jackal King was kind of a brick, and if you already have like another pendulum monster on the pendulum scale, it's really no good. So that's why I'm running it the way it is. Alright, so now we're moving on to the Pen Magician package, starting over with the Chronograph Sorcerer. I know he's technically not a Pen Magician, but he's still part of the package. It's got a free summon effect on the pendulum scale where it pops itself, where you can special summon Time Gazer Magician, or you can place it on the pendulum scale, but its ability to special summon itself from hand when one of your cards is destroyed is not once per turn. So it's a good way just to get a free body out and 1 additional body if you have available. So Chronograph Sorcerer, definitely a much needed card. And of course, to go with it is Time Gazer Magician. Definitely don't want to see this card at all in your hand. If you do, it's a dead card and you might as well just try to get rid of it as best as you can. Next, 3 Harmonizing Magician. I ran it at 2 for a while and then brought it back up to 3, mainly because I actually do want to see this package a little bit more often. It's just a great extender, so Harmonizing Magician, definitely a great card. You just can't pendulum summon it off the extra deck, but overall it's still a pretty good card, and just a good way to, get into Borderload Savage Dragon faster. I'm playing 2 Black Fang, can even bring back Endymion if you have to discard it if at any given point, so Black Fang Magician, just a good way to, deal with stuff. And the good thing about it is that it can pop itself from the pendulum scale, and its monster effect will still trigger off because it counts as itself being popped by a card effect. 2 Purple Poison. Everyone already knows what this does. If this card is destroyed, you can target 1 face-up card on the field and destroy it too. So definitely a great card. And the last of our Pen Magicians, 1 Dragon Collar Magician. It's kind of a pseudo DNA surgery. So just to get into your Guard Dragon plates a little faster, just turn 1 monster you control into a Dragon type, and you can go from there. For more added consistency, I'm running 2 of this Current Razor. I'm not running the 3rd because it's a once per duel effect once you use its scale effect. So that's why I'm only running the 2. So it's just a good enough second in case you need it. So like if you don't have Dark Worm but you have this in your opening hand, this is a good way to start off. So you play that Servant of Endymion, play this in the scale that counts as 1 spell, give Servant a counter, and then you can summon this from your pendulum scale. Alright, and that's pretty much it for this package. Now we're moving on to the Dragon package. So starting off, I'm going to be playing 3 Dark Worm. It's pretty standard. You can summon this card off the graveyard as long as you control no monsters. And it just searches out your donut. And it's a good way to start off your Guard Dragon plays, basically. Got Ether, the Empowering Dragon. The reason for this card is just because, you know, it gives you better value than Amorphous Sloth right now. You summon this, and then you get to banish one card on your opponent's side of the field, banish one monster, and it's not once per turn. So you can bring this out in multiple times in one turn. You know, you could just keep picking apart your opponent's board one by one, and it's just a good way to, you know, go for the OTK. Of course, I got the Master Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, which I mainly just use it for the fact that it can pop itself in the Pendulum scale, and you just keep triggering off that Servant Endymion's effect to keep adding more spell counters. And of course, we got Luster Pendulum, the Tuner, which helps you get into your Draco or your Ignis monster from your extra deck and so forth. And does pretty much the same thing as Master Pendulum. I know this card's back at 3, but you still just want to run it at 1 just because, you know, you don't want to see it too often. So, yeah. And then the last of our monsters is Strudo. Everyone already knows what this does. Just another free piece extender, so that's no reason to run it. Alright, so now we're moving on to spells. I'm playing 3 copies of Spell Power Mastery. It's the Rota for the deck. Searches out Servant of Endymion, but if you already have it, you can search out the Mighty Master of Magic and get 3 skills and literally just one, well, not 3 skills, but 3 spell counters in just one turn with Servant of Endymion, like, real easily. So definitely a great card. 2 Duelist Alliance searches out any card that has Pendulum in the name, and of course you can search out the Draco Slayers with those. You got 2 Pendulum Call as well, which you also want to search out. I'm playing 2 Pot of Desire since this is a 40 card deck. You could run it at 3 if you so choose, but I kind of just want to keep it at 40, so that's why. And I don't want to see this card unless I really need it. 1 Dragon Shrine, 1 Foolish Burial, and 1 Upstart Goblin, just to make it feel like this deck is actually running at 39 cards rather than 40, but still. Upstart Goblin, definitely a great card to have. Alright, so for the extra deck, I'm just playing like usual standard choices for Pendulums. Playing 1 Electromite. You know, this is definitely a card you need. 1 Hieratic Seal. Just gives you access to your dragons faster from your deck. And it also access free forms of disruption, so you can bring out that Ether again. The Guardragon Pisty, Agripane, and LP. Everyone should already know what these do. I also got a Triple Burst Dragon. I'm really glad it's a common now, so definitely get your hands on one of these. Got Surge Scoldger, which comes up from time to time. I got Appaloosa, which I do bring out fairly often. But if I don't bring this out, it's most likely going to be Boral Sword Dragon. But Appaloosa just adds as free forms of disruption. Next for our Synchros, we got Warlord Savage Dragon, which is relatively easy to bring out. Ignister Prominence, or Provenance, however it's pronounced. Just the fact that he can pop your opponent's Pendulum skills if you're up against a mirror match too, so that's just crazy. And you can special summon a Draco Slayer from your deck in defense mode. So definitely a great way to just get rid of your opponent's scales if you're up against the mirror match. F.A. Dawn Dragster, you know, pretty good choice. I'm actually running Magister Paladin. This card's actually pretty good, I like it. You can special summon a Draco Slayer from your extra deck, as long as it's face up. And also at the end of the turn, on the turn it's summoned, you can add a Pendulum card from your deck to your hand, so it searches out anything. For time rules, you know, Gal 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 Cowboy, which I mainly just put it in here for shits and giggles, so that's the only reason why I'm running it. And for the Agripane target, I'm going Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon rather than Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, because this card negates anything. And it also recurs your resources, so that's why I'm running it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, let's go ahead and move on to the side deck and go from there. For the side deck, it's pretty self-explanatory. Denko Sega, since back row heavy decks have a good matchup against Pendulums, so that's the only reason why I'm running it. Drone Lockbird for any Surge reliant deck. Cosmic Cyclone, you know, why not? Dark Ruler No More, which goes against any combo heavy strategy, so just play this and just stop your opponent from activating monster effects for the turn. And then lastly, Red Reboot. And that's all I got to say about that. So, yeah. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys again next time.